You never really fail as long as you can learn something.
As you age, life has a tendency to take things from you, like hair. It wasn't because I didn't have the fitness, it was because I doubted myself.
Do you have a fear of failure?
I saw myself as a failure in relationships and a failure in money. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cheese Curds Coffee. My name is Alan Thompson. I am joined by the beautiful, talented, bilingual, powerful, strong, wonderful wife of mine, Katie Thompson, star of the show,
Hello.
with her new haircut, which we're going to talk about. If this is your first time joining us on Cheese Curds and Coffee, thank you for joining us. For those of you who have listened to the podcast or watched us on YouTube, welcome back. Where have we been?
Busy.
Busy.
Doing life.
Busy with life.
Making changes like we always do.
All the same thing. Yeah, all the things. But a little bit different setup on the podcast.
Like physical setup or like how we're doing things? Both.
Both. Still focused on health, wealth, happiness, and how we do those things. But this is now going to be a living journal. A journal that I love journaling. Katie, not so much. But I love the journal. And there's so many lessons every week that I think we take away from what happens and think about and try and improve on things for next week. And we thought this would be a great way to talk about those things, explore those things with you all. And so here we are. All right. So, Katie, this is our running journal for last week. What were the headlines for you?
This was a big week. It started with a pretty significant CrossFit competition for me and for our gym community. We had more athletes than we've ever had register compete, including myself, on a team with some ladies that I met solely to do this competition with. I got my hair cut. I look wildly different. I'm still trying to figure out.
You don't look that different.
When I see myself in the mirror, who's actually in the reflection. And yeah, it was like close to 9 inches cut off. So that's a significant change, at least for me. I'm still working through that.
Okay.
Let's see, we had some staffing changes at the gym. We have a phenomenal couple who has been coaching with us for a while that's going to relocate with their family out of state. And that will cause some gaps. But one of our tried and true coaches who has been with us for, even longer than we've had the gym is excited to be moving into more hours and a role that gives him more time with more athletes. So that was an awesome transition that I wasn't quite prepared for, but landed very well. I don't know, what did I miss?
I think that's a good list.
What's yours?
Not nearly as exciting as yours. I had this 5K. I've been training for a 5K. I have set this goal of a sub 25-minute 5K. So I spent the last 8 weeks working, running. I think I was averaging 30 plus miles a week.
Probably. Happens easily when you do 7 a day.
And then ended up testing it on Friday. And I missed my goal by 2 seconds. The two sub 25 minutes. I was like 25:01. Yeah, so that happened. And then other than that, just supporting you at the competition, having a great time in the community. It was a good week. If I had to ask you the thing that just kept replaying in your mind this past week, what would that be?
Oh, I forgot. So to answer that question, starting this week, I changed how I'm training. So I'm going through some things. I'm in my 40s and my body is changing and I'm going through phases of womanhood that all women will go through that are not super fun. And for the last couple of years, I've had some hard blood work and hormone levels have been not where I would hope that they would be. So testosterone specifically for me is really, really low, like abnormally low. And as a result, I'm experiencing way more fatigue, not recovering properly, all the things. But so now that the competition is out of the way, that ended on Sunday, took a rest day on Monday, and then starting on Tuesday, I changed my training style. So I'm going to be doing a ton more strength-based training, layering in a little bit more zone 2 cardio style training, but really leaning away a little bit from high intensity metcons that are pretty common within the CrossFit class space. Still like that style of training, but just adjusting things for myself so that it's either a little bit heavier, fewer reps, more sprint style with more time to recover and rest in between intervals. So for me this week, it was, how am I doing this? What am I doing? And what does my now gym routine look like?
Sure.
Which was pretty different because I'm usually I just take class. I love having my coach tell me what to do. I love being present with my friends in classes and in the community and working out alongside other people and doing the same thing. But this week was wildly different from a training perspective for me.
Sure. For me, it was what happened on Friday. So I guess it's the latter part of the week that really stood out for me. And the purpose of this episode is how we're going to talk about this idea of we set these goals and we don't necessarily achieve them. We do a bunch of work. We try really hard. And for whatever reason, fatigue, that last mile kicked my butt. But yeah, this idea that we set these goals and we don't hit them, and then you can feel like a failure. And I had an opportunity to wrestle with that. And I knew you kind of had to think through that for the competition that you went to. Yeah, how do we deal with failure when you set a goal and you don't reach it?
I guess
So let me ask you this, not to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh, I think that there's degrees of failure.
Sure. No,
So,
I got you.
did I miss horribly and maybe I need to get better at setting goals? Or was I really close? And at which point then can I celebrate the fact that I got fitter, right? It's competition.
Yeah. What was your goal for the competition? And what did not go the way you wanted?
So my external, the one that was communicated, because I just met these women and I trained with them all of 2 times before we took the competition floor together, was just go out there, do some fitness, give what I had to give, and have some fun and laughs. And all of that we absolutely did, and we had a blast. Internal goals, I know the level of competitor that shows up at this specific event because we've been going for many, many years. And I've competed in this division before. So, I wanted to get to the podium. And I think any competitor that tells you otherwise, maybe like lying to themselves a little bit, or you at least have some idea of where you want to fall on a leaderboard.
So at what point did you say to yourself, hey, this internal goal may not happen? Was there like...
Oh.
So it was early.
Yeah, we took 11th place out of 14 teams in event 1. But for us, we also knew that was going to be our lowest performing event because it had some pretty challenging high skill gymnastics movements, handstand push-ups to be very specific. And it's a movement that I am okay at, but I am not great. And collectively across our team, we had one girl who's really good at them, one girl who said, if you need to tag me in, I can get us a couple.
Sure.
And she did. And we loved that she was able to contribute that because both of us needed that little reprieve. But the way that the programming fell for us, the workout required 100 handstand push-ups. And collectively, the group of 3 of us in the time domain that the workout gave, we just were not capable.
When that happened, when you look at the leaderboard, and I know we're sitting in the, I don't say corral, but we're sitting in the area where all the athletes and friends and family are hanging out, and you look at the leaderboard, like what emotion came up for you in that moment relative to the goal that you set internally?
It's funny because I was disappointed. We performed better on the floor than we did when we practiced. And we left feeling this high, or at least I did. I can't speak, on behalf of the other women, but for me, I was so elated. My individual performance, I did exceptional relative to my capabilities, better at handstand push-ups on the floor than I have ever done inside my gym trying to train. I never got myself to the point of failure, which again, for me, that was like a massive accomplishment because working within the team, we don't want to get to the breaking point because it's harder to come back if you're actually at muscle failure. So riding high, leaving the floor, this was a really great performance for me. It felt really good to do that with these other women. And then when I see the score on the leaderboard, I thought, man, I thought we did good and we did better than we practiced. And better was only 11th place.
I think what's really interesting, and unintentionally, subconsciously maybe, we went on a cruise this year. It was our 10th year together. I don't know if we planned that. It was subconscious that we did that, but it was just happenstance. So anyway, so we're on this cruise and we're talking about how far we've come in our relationship, in life, and all those types of things. And I wonder how 10 years ago, Katie would have handled a disappointment like that. Because it's interesting, you went through that range of emotions. Like, I'm happy that we performed better than we've ever performed ever in the history of the world, to I'm disappointed I'm not reaching this goal. How would old Katie have, I don't know, wrestled with that or dealt with that, you think?
She probably would have been pretty defeated. That probably would have set a tone, and then imposter syndrome would have come through of, am I actually worthy of being on the floor? Not knowing my teammates
Sure.
terribly well. Are they disappointed that they picked me as their teammate? Should I have trained harder? How many days did I take a rest day that I maybe shouldn't have taken a rest day? Or did I skip the hard thing because I was feeling lazy or whatever? Like, all of that. But honestly, throughout the course of the weekend, I never once did I think, wow, I let these girls down, or they probably wish that they had a different partner. And maybe they do wish they had a different partner. And if you do, sorry. But I don't think that's true, because we're already talking about maybe other comps.
Yeah, I love that.
Together.
I love that.
But yeah, I've grown tremendously in, I think a lot of that is just being in the fitness space, and like the things that I test my body with in the gym carries over into so much of our everyday life. That like my mental fortitude, my ability to bounce back from hardship has gotten easier because physically I know I can do hard things.
Yeah, watching it from the outside, it was, even the first workout, I think, like you said, was spectacular. Your handstand push-ups, like that particular movement, fantastic. I'd never seen you do that many that close together. Me neither. Later on, the snatch workout that you did, or the complex that you guys did, that it was just, I thought you were phenomenal all weekend. And at no point was I ever disappointed in your performance, regardless of what the leaderboard said, which I think just speaks volumes to, like, when I think back about 10 years ago, where you were to now, it's night and day, and not just physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to have those moments where you're disappointed because you set a goal, you didn't reach it, but you didn't spiral into this woe is me, let it impact every other. I think it was the first of how many workouts?
6.
Yeah, the first of 6 workouts. But then you showed up for you didn't spiral, you showed up for your team, you showed up for the people that were counting on you, you showed up for the community anyway, even though this thing that you wanted didn't manifest itself, because you can't control who shows up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
some really fit women
I know,
over
but
40.
you can't control what movements get announced, these, that, and the other thing. So I just thought that was really cool to watch. And it really does mirror what you do outside the gym as well. So, proud husband moment.
What about you? You had a goal this week, a
Yes.
big one.
Yes.
You had been training for several weeks.
Yes.
Missed by 2 seconds. How did you feel?
It's so funny. You and I are so different. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm by myself out on the road that I normally run on. So no bright lights and crowds and all that. It's not
a stage for you.
It's not a thing for me.
Audience.
First mile, I was happy with how I felt. The pace I was surprised by the pace I was keeping. Second mile, happy with the pace I was keeping. I was surprised by the pace I was keeping. third mile was just uncomfortable, like the whole time. Almost stopped, honestly, because it dawned on me that I had gone maybe too hot first parts, and I was frustrated. I did all that, and I'm gonna come up short, but I didn't stop. I kept pushing, and I came up short, like a long whatever. I missed it by 2 seconds. But for me, it's always about just going through the journey. So much of it is just not just a result, but who I'm becoming in pursuit of that result. So the idea that I can get up most mornings and go for a run and improve my health, improve my fitness. My run route takes me to a beautiful park where I get to watch the sun come up if I time it. And so I timed it right that morning. So I was disappointed for sure that you look at the stop, like a press stop on the Nike Run Club app, and that thing said 25:01. I was just like, I can't believe I did all that work.
Did you have any idea? Were you looking?
Yeah.
Did you know how close you were?
I knew and I thought there would be a kick at the end, and I didn't have it. I had it, but it wasn't enough to overcome that last mile.
Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah. It was just that last mile really took a lot out of me. So lesson learned a lot. And so, yeah, I was disappointed. Finished the route, walked down to the lake, sat down, put on some music, and watched the sun come up for a little bit, texted you.
I got a beautiful video of this gorgeous sunrise, and then Alan pumping his arms in excitement and celebration with this gorgeous backdrop.
Yeah, we'll have to put it. Sorry, folks listening on the podcast, but we'll put it on the YouTube channel so you can see it. But it was a good day, good start of the day. And I ended up cooling down, walking back to the gym. Stopped and picked up a couple of Gatorades on the way back, and it was awesome. So yes, I think similar to you. I was disappointed in the moment, but don't consider it a failure just because of all the good things that happened in pursuit of the goal, and probably take a week off after it again. So let's talk about the handstand push-ups.
Pretty.
Why were those No, I'm saying, but why were those such a? Gosh, Why were they such a highlight for you? Because they were a highlight for me, but I'm curious why they were like that particular thing was such a highlight for you.
I guess because it's so difficult. And I know from other workouts, there's certain benchmark workouts in CrossFit that test handstand push-ups at high volume in a quick amount of time, which is literally what you're doing in a competition. They're going to give you high volume and you have to do a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
And you don't get a lot of time to do that. And I have struggled with them because I have really strong shoulders, but I don't have strong pressing muscles.
I don't know.
So I can overhead squat.
Sure.
I can get the bar up there and I can carry load over my head and I have great stability there. But the actual volume of just repeated pressing at my body weight is really difficult. So last year, I had a goal throughout the course of all of 2025 that I wanted to be able to do a strict handstand push-up. That was a terrible goal because I hadn't actually tested to see like how close am I to this.
Sure.
So I know that this is an area of weakness for me, and I know that typically this particular competition programs them. So as I was training and trying to prepare, I would work drills that would just focus on technique. During a minute, do a certain number, and then rest the remaining part of the minute. And then the next minute starts and you do that exact same number and you try to do that for 10 minutes. And so I had been working that, and there were days that I was working on that it would finally click and I would get all the technique right and they felt good and it felt effortless.
Sure.
And then 3 minutes later, it was like I forgot everything that I was doing, and all of a sudden my body's in this weird place in space, and now I'm having lower back pain while I'm upside down, or my arms have started to fatigue, and
Sure.
so like the descent onto my head is hurting, and so all of that. And as I had been practicing, I was deliberate about don't just try and do as many as you can all at once, because that's not going to do you good. It's not going to be a benefit for your team. Really drill the technique. So I forced myself, and at no point did I try to test how many can I do unbroken without stopping. And I think the very first set that I did was like 7 or something like that, which I've never done 7 unbroken.
I remember.
Ever.
I know.
And then we have the video. I could go back and watch, but I don't know how many total I did throughout the course of the
It was great.
event. I had to take a couple deliberate breaks, but it was, for me, the reminder that the way I trained was the right way. And it's not just about doing the thing on repeat until you break.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the actual technique, if you have not built the strength and the mechanics, your volume will never be there.
I think it's interesting too, and I don't know if this is specific to women, but I just noticed that a lot of women have goals that are associated with moving their body in space or manipulating, you know what I mean? Like, I want to
Body, a pull-up.
I want to get a pull-up,
yeah,
or I want to get a push-up that's not modified on my knees.
Yep.
Strict handstand push-up for you. Why do you think that is? Is that difficult? Is that?
Oh, it's hard as hell.
I know, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's easier for guys to do a push-up or do a pull-up. Or there's not a stigma
I'm
around
certainly
it.
not the scientist in the room, so don't quote me on this. And all of you who
There might be a stigma about it.
But I would imagine that just generally the way that our bodies are proportioned, right? Men tend to be a little bit broader on the top, a little bit more narrow on the bottom. Pull-ups and that movement in particular, guys tend to carry a little bit more muscle in their back than I would imagine a woman does, unless you're specifically training for that. You look across a Globo gym, if you ask every man in the room how many of you can do a pull-up unassisted versus how many of the women that are generally in their training, women have for years been told smaller is better, cardio, right? I still to this day am so angry at past me, because there was one girl that I grew up with who used to go to the weight room with the boys. And I thought, wow, she's weird. Why would she want to go lift weights? And now I own a gym and I'm like,
now you're the weird one?
Now I'm the weird one that wants to get bulky and have all this muscle.
Yeah. So social conditioning, basically.
I think
has a big part of it.
For sure. But it's also, it's not easy.
No,
not saying that it's easy for men.
No, I'm with you. I'm just curious.
But I would guess that the percentage of men that can do a push-up off of their knees, or the percentage of men that can do a pull-up, is likely significantly higher than that of the percentage of women.
No, I got you. And I think it goes back to that social conditioning part. At least my experience has been the goals that men set are different, like bench press 220.
I was just going to say, you want to bench with 2 plates. I just would love to be able to bodyweight bench press at some point in my life. Not close.
Was there a moment in this competition that surprised you, other than the handstand push-up? I remember one specifically for me that I saw you do, but was there a moment that surprised you?
For me, the run surprised me, but I think that was my own fault because I was afraid of going out too hot. And my portion of the run, I had to go in and out of some water. The very first time that I did that to get around the buoy, the water was literally up to my neck and there was a little bit of an undertow. And so there was a couple, probably 15 seconds or so that I just wasn't moving. I had feet on the ground or on the sand, but even trying to swim, the undercurrent was pulling me back towards the buoy, and I was like, this is not good. If I get to the second buoy after sprinting in between these on the sand run, if I'm this fatigued and back in the water up to my neck, not going to be a good situation for me. So I held back, and then that second buoy was not even remotely in the same depth of water. And I also didn't realize that my partner was waiting almost as soon as I got out of that water. So I should have given way more on
I love that for you.
My sprint.
I love that.
Run faster.
I love that for you.
But ultimately, our chip timer didn't work anyway. And
you got a score.
We got a score, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it worked out. So that's interesting. I love that for you.
But what's yours?
The one
you said something came to mind for you. What is it?
Surprised
me.
The complex that you hit at 155.
Why did that surprise you?
So Katie and I have a history at these competitions. A couple years ago, she had a plan going into a specific workout. She chatted with some random woman in the back during warm-ups and shifted the plan. And subsequently, her whole performance on the floor just kind of fell apart. And I still think we're hanging on to that memory. But I think she's one of the, like, she's a better lifter than me technique-wise, like hands down. If you watch the two of us pick up a barbell, she is 10 times the lifter I am from a technique standpoint. And she'll probably catch me in the number, like the strength standpoint at some point. But there was a complex in this competition where I thought, oh man, she might set a personal best on this, I think jerk, clean jerk, right?
Yeah, it was
clean and jerk. And so she's back in the warm-up area, doing her thing, had a plan. The warm-up didn't necessarily go as great as she wanted to. And she was like adamant about sticking to this plan because of this little thing that happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was. And I was like, honey, I think you got a PR out on that floor. So you should move. You should move like you got move with the opportunity. Like if you have the opportunity, you should go for it. And you get out there and your team smokes this thing. Like your other two competitors, they do their job, they hit their lift. They hit their lift. And Katie's the anchor. She's supposed to lift the most weights, as you can tell by the muscles on her arm. She's supposed to hit the big weights on this complex. And the first one, smoked it. Beautiful. Second one, smoked it. And then you had time. She had time to go for this personal best, and she didn't take advantage of it. And I'm super proud of you, but that what sticks out in my mind is I think we're hanging on to some stuff that happened 2-3 years
my
ago.
heart rate was so
I understand. You asked me.
There is no, I would have hurt myself.
Is there one part of the workout or the competition from the weekend that you could just say it was a private win? And I think you touched on this earlier when you said, hey, I was disappointed, but you leaned into this thing to say, hey, I'm doing really well. I don't need to look at the fact that I missed this goal. I know I'm better than I used to be. Is there one thing that sticks out for you?
I don't think there's a single moment. I think it was the whole weekend, all of the performance. Our best placement was our very last event. I was the most exhausted. It was the one that I was the least excited about, if I'm being very candid. It was the one of their girls was the most excited about, and the other two of us did not like that workout at all.
And it was your best performance.
And it was our best performance of the weekend.
You were in first.
We were in first for a long time.
Yeah, finished third on that.
My legs blew out.
You did 25 wall balls in a row, which had never happened before.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, 5K week. So the goal going into the 5K was, again, 25 minutes, sub 25. Yep. To say I've been working on it for 8 weeks isn't exactly accurate. Like I started this Nike Run Club plan, but I think I set my personal best like a year ago, maybe. I think it was a year ago. And man, there's a lot riding on this run for some reason. There's so much going on, right? Part of it is I'm getting older. I turned 48
in a few weeks.
In a month. And it's interesting, as you age, life has a tendency to take things from you, like hair.
Testosterone.
And so part of this is just making sure I can be as healthy as I can. I may lose my hair, but can I get faster on a 5K or whatever? Can I get healthier? Can I get stronger? All those things. So I've been waffling around, testing it again, because I did it last year, and I knew it was going to hurt, be uncomfortable, and all those things. And it was just like, okay, I'm going to set this goal. I'm going to get this thing done. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to go get it and go get after it. And again, missed it by 2 seconds. Because it wasn't because I didn't have the fitness, it was because I doubted myself.
That moment that you said you thought about stopping, I guarantee if you didn't have that, those 2 seconds would have been back.
And it might have been more than a moment, it might have been 2 minutes. I thought about it. Slow way down. But just this idea that that momentary disappointment, I didn't have to wallow in it. I just had to really think about all the good things that had happened since I started training for it. And I think it probably took me, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to walk down to the bench and sit down, watch the sun come up. I was better by then. So it might have been the shortest disappointment in the history of disappointments. I don't know. Maybe yours was shorter, but it was the right goal to set. And I love the effort of pursuing it. I love the effort that I put out. I'm proud of it. And yeah, looking forward to doing it again. What would you say to someone like your husband who set a goal, missed it?
Why'd we miss it? How far away was it? What did we learn from it? All the things that you need to sit with, right? Again, if we go back to the beginning of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Was this a moonshot goal and we had no business actually thinking that we were going to accomplish that? Was that my strict handstand push-up? Because we're not there and it's going to take more than a year to get there. Or is this a 2 seconds off and that's a matter of my shoelace came untied, or I had a moment of self-doubt as I approached mile number 3.
Yeah.
And then again, what did we learn? We learned that we're capable.
Yeah. I think we can sometimes have a really bad way to measure progress. Like when I think about your story about the competition and this goal that you had of making a podium, how do you laugh?
It's just silly.
It's not silly. It's not a silly goal.
It's silly because it doesn't matter. It's literally the Atlantic Coast Classic. We didn't win money. I'm not a professional athlete that needs that to advance my career and make sure that my sponsors keep me.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's silly.
I think we really have an opportunity to measure progress in a couple different ways, or measure our goals in a couple different ways. We can have a goal that says, hey, I got to win this thing, or hey, I got to make the podium, or hey, I have to be sub 25 minutes. But we can also set goals to help us achieve that goal. I'm going to show up and run 6 times a week. I'm going to show up and be consistent on my handstand push-up practice. I'm going to show up and practice these workouts with my teammates. I'm going to show up and work on my lifting, which we didn't even talk about, which is why you have the muscles that you get. And I thought you could hit a 165-pound clean and jerk on that competition floor. Is because you set the goal of getting on the podium, but you also set the goal of showing up and working on those things. And I sometimes think we get fixated on this idea that it's only about
the
result. And we never talk about action-oriented goals or progress goals. Man, I just got to show up 5 times a week. I got to show up for myself. If I make commitments to myself, do I honor them? And if I'm doing that 5 times a week, you're going to be pretty damn close to hitting your goal. You know what I mean? And at least that's what happened for me. And I think that led directly to minimizing the amount of time I spun around disappointment. And maybe it minimized the amount of time you spun around disappointment too. Because even within the pursuit of that goal of making the podium, you were winning at these other things because you showed up and you practiced. It wasn't luck, it wasn't a miracle, it wasn't like, it wasn't any of those things. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I agree. We don't always agree, by the way.
So as we think about this past week, I guess what counted this week, even though we may not have hit the goal, you didn't take a whole bunch of time off.
Yeah, that's a big thing, right? I didn't decide I'm not hitting the podium and then I'm just going to be done and hang up my I've retired from my competitive days. I didn't get there. But it's interesting because I'm working through a period of transition, and how I'm going to be training now is definitely not in pursuit of trying to podium at a competition. Like 4 months from now, as I'm into heavy strength training and very limited metcons, I will likely be a terrible teammate for someone that wants to go do a CrossFit competition.
Maybe we'll see. Because you're also going to start running more. Zone 2.
Zone 2 is not what you do for running training. But I hear you. I will be interested to see how my progress takes shape. But now I'm trying to literally increase my muscle mass. And in doing that, I am hopeful that my testosterone levels will get back into the, even if it's a low normal or a moderate rate.
Is there any concern or worry or fear about being a failure or failing at this endeavor? Do you even think about that as, hey,
failing out my next 6 months of what's coming?
The next competition you do, are you worried you might fail at it? That's something that even crosses your mind, or
no,
you think about? Why not?
I guess I don't know what failure would look like.
Well,
I guess
you set a goal to make the podium next year at ACC, and you don't make it.
Yeah, I guess I don't consider that a failure.
Why not?
Because I've done all sorts of other things in the pursuit of getting to the... There's probably going to be some other wins. There's probably going to be something I can celebrate.
You can celebrate the pursuit of it. You can celebrate anything you want, right? 8 weeks from now, or 9 weeks, because I'm probably going to take a week to just do some Zone 2 runs and chill and relax. But 9 weeks from now, when I go out there again, I'm going to give it a go. Hopefully I make it. That's the goal. But
do you have a fear of failure?
Not even remotely.
Why do you think that is? Neither of us are afraid of failing. I don't even know. I had to ask you what failure was.
Yeah. I think we have become in love with the process of it, like enjoying the journey of it. I know Katie and I have had this conversation a lot recently about the myth of delayed gratification, and this idea that you can be full of gratitude just for showing up at the gym, or just for showing up at the start line, or just for the first 5 minutes of a run. Hey, I made it through the first 5 minutes, which are the worst. As your body transitions from whatever you were doing to realizing now that you're running, it's awful. But to be grateful for that first 5 minutes, and now you're just in a zone, and now you're just rolling at whatever pace that you're practicing. So this idea of you can be grateful or full of gratitude whenever you want, and celebrate whenever you want, whenever you show up, whenever you do a thing, whenever you take a step towards your goal, failure doesn't matter. It's not a thing. It's who we become in pursuit of the goal that matters even more. And I think we're to the point now where it's not that failure is not an option. Failure isn't a consideration. And I think about some of the challenges that we're going to have to deal with next year when it comes to the business, and things that we're going to have to kind of work through. And the same sort of thought process applies for me anyway. We're going to set a goal, and we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to try a bunch of things, and we're going to show up every day, and we're going to lean into it, and we're going to celebrate the wins and be full of gratitude, and whatever happens at the end happens at the end. And that's it. I don't know what else what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I love that perspective. I love that we've learned how to do that, and that we support each other in that.
It's so weird to think about. Interesting question to think through. I don't know if this has always been the case for me. We met 10 years ago-ish, And like I said, I'm a journaler. And to go back and read my journal from that back then, I definitely did not have the same view of things. I saw myself as a failure in relationships and a failure in money and a failure in just a lot of things. So, yeah, it's been quite the transition for me. I don't even think about it now. Or I think about it differently.
Yeah.
Shifting gears a little bit. So some changes happening at the gym as far as the team, the coaches and whatnot. What was your first reaction when you found out that they were leaving? And how did you kind of process all that?
So I found out that one of our regular coaches got a job offer to go coach out of state. And immediately I felt sad for our gym, but at the exact same moment, so excited for her because we have had numerous conversations, she and I, and about her goals and what she wants to accomplish professionally. And this new business opportunity for her going into a different environment puts her directly in contact with the people who can springboard that goal to life rather than hanging out with us here and trying to do these things on a different timetable. So from that perspective of as a business owner and as a person who works with and develops people, there's nothing greater than being able to watch somebody step into their greatness and do the things that they have set out to do. So I loved that.
Yep.
But then that gave me the anxiety of
Sure.
what does that mean for our gym? And
yeah.
I don't know, CrossFit coaches aren't just like falling off of trees and
the
walking.
impact on the community.
Yeah, walking in the door every other day, like, hey, do you have a job? I'd like to coach. And then just, are you a good coach? Like, do you mesh well with our community? And so there was a couple weeks where I had this information and we weren't yet sharing it with anybody because we wanted to give the family space to be able to have the necessary conversations. And then once they finally said, we've made our decisions and this is how we're going to proceed, then we can notify our existing staff and our community that we were going to be experiencing some changes. And as a result, we'd be looking to fill these empty positions or empty classes rather. And to my surprise, one of our phenomenal coaches that's been with us forever before we stepped in as gym owners said, hey, like I'd love these shifts and I'm willing to make some adjustments in my own personal life and with another job that I have because I would like to be able to give more of me to the Mousetrap community and to one place of employment instead of splitting my time between two. And that was incredible. Like, I did not expect that to happen because I know that he really enjoys his other employers and he really enjoys the community that he gets to work with and the type of work that he was doing there. And at no point did I think maybe this is, an option. So I was already trying to process, who am I going to hire? Who do I know in the Orlando greater CrossFit community that might be looking for some coaching hours? And
how many hours you're going to pick up?
And what that meant for my own schedule.
And us,
So, it was a little anxious for some time as we were working through that. But things have very nicely fallen into place. And I think from a community disruption, it will be almost non-existent.
Yeah. Speaking of community, what is a moment like this kind of teach you about the community? Like, how did you work through or walk through? What lesson can you take away from this?
I always want to protect our people, whether that's our coaches or the members that we have. I know that in our gym space and CrossFit in general, your gym is more than just a gym. It's a social environment. It's people that you consider family that you've become really close to. And there are emotions that are
Yeah.
involved with these kinds of changes. And so for me, messaging and how to deliver all of that to protect our coaching team and make sure that they are getting support where they need to be supported as things are changing, but then also how do we maintain that balance for our community members? Because it's very different than just walking into a Globo gym and scan your little card as you walk through and you go find the equipment that you want and you do your thing by yourself and then leave. You don't have those deep-rooted relationships and friendships that extend beyond I showed up to the gym today and I did a workout.
Yeah. You have goals for the gym, goals for the community. It's funny. I think one of the best parts of ACC was just the sheer number of people that were there. Friends, family.
ACC is the CrossFit
competition.
competition that we participated in.
And I just remember mentioning at the competition, "Man, there's so many people here. We had this big area and you were so proud." I showed up on Saturday, or no, I showed up Friday night. I had missed competition Friday because I was coaching at the gym. And I was like Saturday morning walking, I was like, I don't know, 40 people hanging out here. Some competitors from the previous day. And you said, man, there were more people Friday. And I was just like really celebrating and full of gratitude about just the number of people that you have opened the doors to and built this community with. And during this leadership change, or not the coaches changes, did you worry at all about the goals that you had set for the community being disrupted? Were you concerned at all that like the things that you hold most important for the people that walk through the doors would be at risk because of this coaches?
I was a little anxious because I want transitions to feel seamless, but I also have faith that it's going to work out the way that it's supposed to. And I think the way that it has worked out is the way that it was supposed to. Now, I couldn't have predicted that.
Sure.
But I guess just trusting in our team, trusting in our ability to find good people and
trusting in your ability to find good people.
We are a partnership. Yes.
I just think you've done so much good for this community. I know we purchased a gym and comes with a bunch of members, but it comes with a lot of decisions that and just to be transparent about what happens, we own the gym together, but Katie runs the gym 98% of the time. 98% of decisions she makes on her own and autonomously, and she runs that place and leads the community. And I just think that you never, this for me watching you, that you never considered, oh my gosh, all of the things, the goals I had set for this community are going to get blown up now because I got coaches I got to replace. I got hours I got to fill. And it's not a coincidence. It's not luck that failure wasn't this thing that overwhelmed you. This idea that my goals are going to now be disrupted because this change is happening. Anytime you have change, goals can be at risk. But you consistently identify fantastic coaches. You cultivate an environment where you encourage coaches to get better and you pay for them to get better. I know you open your doors to CrossFit to come in and give classes, and you're always giving coaches the opportunity for additional learnings. And that's always at the forefront of what you're trying to accomplish. Make the community better by making the coaches better. And you give them that space. And so from the outside looking in, maybe the inside looking on the in closer, failure never bubbled up for you. Hey, the community's gonna suffer. Like I never saw you stress or worry that was gonna be the case, and I think it's because you had just built this pipeline of values, standards, making sure you have great coaches available and in the community, and connecting with great coaches and having fantastic people that might become coaches eventually, friends and family. You don't throw up like, hey, you didn't pay your $25 to drop in. You open your doors, you open the opportunity because you know it's a community. Did I get it right? Am I right?
It's your perspective, so.
Do you agree with that perspective? Or you're going to push back like I'm
No.
completely wrong, I'm making stuff up?
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I know it's been a stressful few weeks, but it's worked out for us, and I'm so excited for what's happening with the coaches that are leaving, and I'm excited that good old Sam is joining us again for more hours. So a lot of new beginnings for you this week.
Yeah, even the haircut. I just decided to go all in on all things
New lifting program, new haircut, headed to the CrossFit Games, not to compete, but to hang out and meet the new CEO, do all that stuff. Why? Why the new haircut?
Oh, realistically, I just couldn't have a sweaty mop on my head anymore because if you ever have been to Florida in the summer, you know that it's like walking into the swamps.
It's interesting because you were like, I'm going to get my haircut done after this competition. I'm going to transition to this new program after the competition, lifting program after the competition. I don't know. I feel like you're in this new chapter, this new...
New me. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a midlife crisis. We didn't get a new car. We already bought the house, so we're not getting another new house.
No. We got to pay off this one.
Yeah. We're here for a while.
The title of the podcast is odd. It's an odd pairing. Cheese Curds Coffee. You're the Cheese Curds. I'm the coffee. Isn't that?
I love cheese curds. I don't know why this is odd.
I don't know. You wouldn't pair cheese curds and coffee together.
I might eat cheese curds every time I have the opportunity to.
Have you ever paired cheese curds and coffee together? Have you sat down and go, you know what? Today I need some cheese curds. I need some coffee.
I like coffee every day, and if I could get cheese curds every day, the answer would be yes. Where are you going with this?
We're going to edit this out because I don't understand. This dynamic of we are two different people, even though we have shared values is where I was going with it. Okay. But I won't edit this out. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Okay. So if we, I love journaling. If we turn this into a journal lesson, what did last week teach us?
You never really fail as long as you can learn something.
Oh.
That's me dropping the mic.
Set 2 goals. One is a goal for completion. One is a goal for action or activity. I love the process. I think you love the process too. Do you love the process?
I love the recital. I love the final show.
That would explain why you like to be stage, lights. I just want to run on a dark road by myself.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Yeah. We're not the same.
I think they probably figured that out by now.
Cheese curds, coffee, decaf, coffee. So what's one thing you learned about goals this last week that reinforced? What's one thing that was reinforced about goals what's one thing that was reinforced this past week that you know about goals? Know to be true about goals?
There's different levels as you're getting there.
I love it.
And it's not failure even if you didn't get it.
I can't hear you. What?
And it's not failure if you didn't get it.
It's not failure if you don't get to reach the goal. It's just a learning point. It's data.
Yeah.
Something you can learn from. All right. I think that's it for this new first podcast episode that we're rolling back out. And our goal is to be significantly more regular and consistent with our content. So I know you don't love journaling. So now this is how we journal together.
It's like a stage.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out this long. I know this was a long episode. Where should they find us, dear?
At Cheese Curds and Coffee on Instagram. We are moving. So by the time this is published, it'll be under at Cheese Curds at Cheese Curds and Coffee. It'll be under Cheese Curds and Coffee on YouTube and the podcast. Wherever you get your normal content, you can find us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye. That was great. What did you think?